Hi, I'm Rod Kurthy, and a few days ago we sent out an email talking about all the exciting things that have, the changes that have happened with our whitening system. Well, as it turns out, we're not the only ones excited. All of you are excited too, because I'll tell you, our phones have been flooded. So my staff asked me if I would go ahead and do this little impromptu video to explain some of the answers to the most commonly asked questions that we're getting on the phones. So let's get into that. First of all, what the heck is this dual-activated tri-barrel hydromide peroxide technology? Well, it's something I've been working on for the last, 3.5 or 4 years. And the bottom line to you is, with this, it's more effective, and so you are able to eliminate that first in-office whitening visit. So that means that we're able to cut your in-office whitening time in half. Also, that means that we've been able to reduce the price significantly. Wait till you see the price list, you're going to love it. Well, to get a little bit more specific about the changes, let me talk about an analogy of the perfect car. The perfect car sells for about $15,000 new, but it's more prestigious to drive than a Rolls Royce. It does 0 to 60 in only 3 seconds, but yet it gets 100 miles to the gallon. Carries 15 passengers and all their luggage, but it fits into a tiny parking spot. Bottom line is, the perfect car does not exist. It can't, because the more of this over here that you need, the more over here you have to give up, and vice versa. Well, it's the same way with bleaching gels. You know, there's an entire list of what we would like bleaching gels to do. And there's another list of things we would like bleaching gels not to do. And what happens is, when you go one direction to get more of what you want, you start introducing some of those negatives. Well, as all of you know, I've overcome quite a few of those objectionable problems over the past few years, but it always bothered me that I wasn't able to totally get rid of the problems. Well, it dawned on me a while back that I could, instead of using a dual barrel syringe, I could go to tri-barrel. In other words, I could keep the chemistry separated into 3 components that are not mixed until you mix them. And by doing that, I have, as it turns out, been able to overcome virtually all of the negatives. So now I've got my entire list of wants, and I've gotten rid of the list of the we do not wants. So that's why we're so excited about this whole thing. How you're going to learn about this is with the new manual. With your first order of the Hydremide products, if you already own a deep bleaching training manual, you're going to get a new one for free. And you're going to love the new manual, because I spent about 5 or more months putting this together so that it has even more information than before. It's easier to read than before. We have instructions that are more cookbook, step 1, step 2, step 3. Also, I have shortened summaries of some of those instructions that you can actually use in the lab or use at chairside. So be looking forward to that. It's really going to be helpful. Now, another question is, what has changed in the protocol? Well, not much. First of all, the impression system is virtually the same. There are some very, very minor changes with it that are going to make it a lot easier, and I've updated the DVD on that. So be looking for that. When you make any order or when you send in lab cases, you're automatically going to be getting the new DVD. And be sure that your staff watches that, because they're going to love it. It's going to make the impressions quicker, easier, more predictable. Now, the bleaching trays are going to be exactly the same, but now on the first visit for the patient, you're not going to be doing your conditioning whitening visit. What you're going to be doing is just giving the patient the kit, giving them or reinforcing the instructions that they're getting already on the DVD. Then when they come back for their final visit, it's going to be exactly what you've been doing so far, except you're going to be using the new Hydremide product. Now, there is one important change that's very, very important for you to understand. When the patients get their kit, they get about 20 nights worth of bleach. And as you know, they bleach for 14 nights, so they have about 6 nights left over on average. Well, I've always recommended that they use that to start their maintenance with, but I don't recommend that anymore. My clinical studies have shown that if after you're done with them with that final in-office visit, if they then, starting that night or the following night, finish up all of the bleaching gel by bleaching every night with that, that really helps set the color, and it helps the long-term stability of the whiteness. Well, now, why don't I need the conditioning visit anymore? Well, in addition to the fact that we have a bleaching gel formula now that's even more effective than the great product that we had before, it's also a much lower surface tension. Now, that's not easy to do, to get a low surface tension so that you get good adaptation of the bleaching gel to the tooth so you get better penetration without it running off the teeth. But we've done that. So now the surface tension is such that the bleaching factors get into the tooth much more rapidly. Therefore, we don't need that first in-office visit. And in fact, we've found in our clinical split arch testing that the results are just as good, and in many cases just a little bit better than before. Now, the one thing I want you to pay attention to is, because the penetration is so great, we found that it was penetrating a little bit under the previous paint-on dam. Well, we don't want to have irritation of the gums, so we have a reformulation of the paint-on dam to also make it a lower surface tension, so that now it bonds to the teeth and now we don't have any leakage. And because it's a lower surface tension, it is so much easier to apply. You're going to love the new paint-on dam. Now, another thing is that we don't need the high white anymore. It's true that the high white was a desensitizer, but we mainly used that because of its enhancement of whitening. In other words, it helped the bleaching factors penetrate the tooth. Well, our penetration is so great now that we don't need that. So we've saved you the cost on the high white, and we've saved you that step. Now, one of the questions we're getting is, since this product is more effective, is it more sensitivity going to be involved? No. Remember the list. I got all the wants that I wanted. So I've been able to lower the osmolarity, therefore the sensitivity is even less than our already low sensitivity system. Another nice thing that we've been asked about is we've eliminated the 2-patient kits. Now all of the kits are just for 1 patient. So you're going to like that. Now, the at-home procedure and the at-home kit has not changed, other than, like I said, after you're done, I want the patient to finish at home all the gel that they have. But be sure that they go home with a maintenance kit. Make sure that they purchase one of those from you, because it's important that patients maintain that white smile so that they're thrilled years and years from now with the whitening result. As I said, the impression materials have not changed, but the technique, there's some enhancements there, so be sure and watch that DVD. And if you don't need to order anything, but you still want to know the changes with the impression technique, give us a call, and we'll be happy to send that to you. Now, let's talk about the kits, because we're being asked what type of kits we have. The kits are very similar. First of all, there's the Max kit. Again, it's going to involve paint-on dam and retractors, but no first in-office visit. The standard kit, again, is going to be done with deep bleaching trays, so no need for paint-on dam or retractors. And again, there's no first visit. Now, the other kit that we have available now is what we call our Max Ultra kit. Now, that's a difficult case kit. That is for cases like tetracycline, etc. Now, with that kit, you are still going to have both a first and second visit. But that's only going to be about 1 out of every 30 of your cases. So you're still going to mainly be using the Max kit, the regular Max kit, or the standard kit. Now, we also still have our at-home kits for patients that only want to do at-home bleaching. That's called Core Night. We're also coming up with a new product for daytime bleaching. Now, as you know, I favor nighttime bleaching. It's always the most effective, but there are those cases where the patients really need to whiten at home during the daytime. So within the next 2 months, we're going to have that new product available, and you're going to be amazed. When you compare this to other daytime whitening bleaching gels, it's going to knock your socks off. And of course, we have maintenance kits with the Core Night. We will have maintenance kits with the Core Day also. And of course, we're going to have other kits such as your difficult case kits, in-office only type kits. You'll talk to our representatives. They'll go over all of that with you. Now, what I'm going to want you to do is go back to the page that you clicked on to watch this video. And on that same page, you're going to be able to download the price list. When you look at that price list, you're going to love it, because what we've tried to do in this economy, we've tried to slash our prices across the board as much as we possibly can. So you're going to like what you see there. Now, one of the other nice things that this new formulation has allowed us to do is extend the shelf life. Now our bleaching gels have shelf lives between 1.5 and 2 years. So be sure and take advantage of the volume price discounts that you're going to see on that price list. Now, one more thing that you need to download on that same page, and that is a new lab slip. And you know why? Because it's got a new address, because we moved. Our company over the last week and a half has moved into a much larger, about 6 or 7 times larger facility. And I have to thank all of you for that. Our business is just doing great. Thank you for all the wonderful calls that we get from you. Thank you for all the referrals. Thank you for being enthused about this. So anyway, I really enjoyed doing this video. I hope it helped you, and we'll be talking again soon. Bye-bye.